Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Lazer Strada KinetiCore cycling helmet. The Strada KinetiCore is an affordably priced road cycling helmet that was developed for everything from leisurely weekend rides to high-intensity club rides. It's part of Lazer's new lineup of KinetiCore equipped helmets, which is their new built-in rotational protection impact system. In terms of packaging, you can see very simple. You have the KinetiCore branding here with this light green. Nice environmentally friendly cardboard box with a simple slide out design. We have the medium version in the light blue sunset. I'm going to take out this box and go over the specs. So retail price on this is $199.99, so quite affordable considering helmets these days. It has a 5-star Virginia Tech rating, which is an independent third-party crash rating system, so really nice to see. Has integrated KinetiCore, which again is their controlled crumple zone design. So it's a little EPS foam raised sections, and it's built directly into the shell, unlike a MIPS liner, which would be added on after the fact. It has their ScrollSys Belt system. So you'll notice there's no dial on the bottom that you traditionally see for the adjustments. Instead, it's top mounted up here. And it's actually a belt, so really cool. And a lot easier to use than their previous dial. So you can simply grab a nice large touch target and quite thin compared to a dial. It has 21 vents, so designed to keep you cool. You can see large vents in the front, all along the sides and the back to really get the air out. And this is aeroshell compatible, so there's an optional shell that'll actually cover these up if you want something more aerodynamic or just for wet weather riding and don't want to get soaked. It also is taillight compatible, so you can see that little port here. That's for their optional LED taillight. In terms of what comes with the helmet, obviously you get the helmet, some basic tags that describe the technology and how to use it. You also have this clever little compartment on the inside of the box, which has some additional safety information, the crash replacement policy, and a little QR code to find out more about it. Now let's take a look at the weight of the helmet. Again, we have the medium North America version. So on our scale, it comes in at 290 grams, which is quite light. Really anything under 300 grams is easy to forget you're wearing, as it's that light. The Strada KinetiCore is Lazer's mid-level road cycling helmet that's designed to satisfy everything from high-end cyclists to more beginner cyclists just looking for a weekend ride. It's offered in 7 different color variations, so you can really choose the one that works for you. We have the light blue sunset, which is really cool. So you can see it almost looks like color shifting, but it's actually just a static graphic with this fade between the blue and this light red. Makes it look like a sunset. It looks really cool as it's strategically placed along the vents. It's also offered in 6 other colors, everything from a solid black to dual variations that change depending on the top and bottom, such as red, green, or gray. It's a good looking helmet overall with a lot of venting. You have 21 vents. So quite a few of them. You can see large rectangular vents on the front, top, a little scoop on the back, and then even the rear section, you have all these exhaust vents that really help funnel the air out. It is a fairly restrained style, so unlike some of the Italian helmets which have these more aggressive scoops, it's more just flat rectangular, simple edge creases along the edges. So much more restrained and definitely great if you're looking for something that's not in your face. You have integrated pads as well for the eye storage. So you can see these little pads here, and that helps protect the shell, and it's a little bit of non-slip material. So you see that on both sides. It has a distinctive ellipse style shape. So if you look from the top down, you can see it really tapers on the rear. And that's not something most helmets have. They're usually flatter. So distinctive to Lazer. And you can see even on the back, it really tapers down. So good looking helmet, and with the completed, as a fully completed shell around it. So 2-piece design, you have the main top section, and then this ring that goes around, and this alternating color for our color scheme. So fully finished around the edges, so you don't have exposed foam, which makes it look a lot more premium. And that's nice to see, especially at this about $100 price point. Inside, you have no dial, which is really cool. So you have a retention system, which is a standard design. And you can see very wide and open here, something you don't typically see. It's just a shell. Typically you'd have a big dial here, large padding. Here it's soft and flexible with this thin little ring wire that goes on the front. And this lets it adjust very easily and keeps the weight down. What's cool about this helmet is its top mounted adjustment system. So the dial, instead of having a dial here, you have a belt. What I really like about the belt, it's very easy to use. Unlike their previous dial on the top, that was hard to use with gloves. With this, it's such a large touch point that it's very easy to do while you're riding. You don't have to worry, just grab it. And it has a nice texture to it as well, as you can see. So you can feel it even with gloves on, and makes it really simple. It's also lower profile as it's quite thin. So supposedly it's supposed to be more aerodynamic. The other thing with this helmet is obviously the KinetiCore feature. So this is their MIPS alternative. And rather than having a secondary liner that's attached after the fact, this one is actually built into the EPS foam. So they're controlled crumple zones, and that's what these little bumps are all along the helmet. So they're strategically placed and designed to crumple in the case of an accident and absorb some of that rotational impact. Given the 5-star rating from Virginia Tech, obviously they work. And they're a lot sleeker, so you don't have a big MIPS liner that slides around. All the vents are nice and unobstructed, so you get better airflow. And less plastics, they don't have a secondary plastic liner. Now let's take a look at the helmet on the road. It's a pretty attractive helmet, although it does have an understated design. The blue sunset effect is pretty interesting and almost looks like color shifting. You can see it pairs well with a variety of kits. We have the Ollie color shifting jacket, which also looks really cool, as well as the chameleon bike, which actually does change color. As far as the helmet itself though, it has a narrow profile and you can see a very pointy rear portion, which makes it look quite distinctive. Really like the ScrollSys Belt design. It's a lot easier to adjust than the previous dial. And as you can see, this helmet has a lot of vents, so it's quite cool. You can even see my hair popping out of some of the vents, which we didn't realize till after. But it is well ventilated, although it's not the most ventilated helmet we've used. Something like the Smith Trace is a little bit better. But overall, really comfortable helmet, and whether you're doing long rides or just leisurely rides, it does work well. Now let's do a little comparison between the Lazer Strada and other helmets on the market. We have the previous Lazer Sphere helmet. You can see very similar design with that shape and the top-mounted system. Here they have the top-mounted dial, and this is what I didn't like about this helmet. It's a very small touch point, so when you're trying to adjust it while you're riding, you're kind of reaching around, and it's easy to miss. With the belt, you can see just how much larger it is. It's triple the size, so really easy to feel and nicely textured. The other thing is with the KinetiCore construction, you don't have the MIPS liner, so you can see this plastic MIPS liner in here versus the built-in EPS foam, so you don't have any blockage of any of the vents. And it's a lot simpler design. There are other helmets on the market as well. This is more of a mid-level helmet, which is why it's more affordably priced and might not have some of the higher end features such as the magnetic dials. We have the Smith Trace here. More expensive, but a lot brighter and in your face with this Get Wild color scheme. It's also available in quite a few other colors. It has their Corroad technology, so a little bit different of approach. You can see the zonal design. It looks like a little plastic straws. These are actually designed to crumple in the case of an accident and eliminates the need for the EPS foam in these sections. So a really cool design, and it almost replaced that whole section to keep the weight down while you're keeping you protected. What I like about the Smith Trace is it has the open vents down the middle versus all these smaller ones, so it keeps you cool despite having the Corroad blockage on the other one. On the inside, you can see it has a MIPS liner though, so it's pretty well integrated with all the cutouts, but it does block some of the vents obviously because it has to have some structure to it. Has a normal dial versus the really open setup of the Lazer, which is really cool to see. So if you have ponytail or longer hair, or just want better ventilation, then the Lazer's top design is pretty nice and innovative. Also, the Strada isn't quite as aero as some other helmets on the market. We have the POC Ventral Spin here, and POC is really known for their bright color. This is a nice mint green. So you can see it looks more premium just because of the color scheme, but less venting to keep it more aero. And you can see that rear profile. So with aero helmets, it usually extends the rear. It has these sharper cutoffs versus the more road cycling design and smoother finish that you have with the Lazer helmet. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Lazer Strada KinetiCore helmet. What we like about it is that it has a very affordable price. It's great to see a $100 helmet, especially with everything being $200 or $300 these days. You have a variety of graphics and solid color schemes to choose from as well, which is always nice to see instead of just the plain white and black colors. And the KinetiCore does reduce the amount of plastic in the helmet, and it's directly built in, so it's a nice innovative design that reduces the amount of waste. Some of the cons for the helmet is the fact that it does have an understated design. Honestly, it's a nice way to say it's a little bit bland to look at, but that is a good thing if you don't want it to really stand out. And as with a lot of other laser helmets, the plastic buckle just requires a lot of force to open. So you really have to push down compared to other helmets we've used. Taking everything into account, we'd give the helmet an 8.9 out of a 10. It's a nice, affordable, and innovative helmet that features the new KinetiCore technology. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist, reminding you to enjoy the ride.